All right, welcome. So we're going to get started this morning or this afternoon, or this evening in child's pose. And you can take your knees nice and wide. You can bring your big toes together to touch. From here, you could always reach the arms out in front of you, or if it's more preferable, absolutely let them back alongside the body. And that all being said, if child's pose is not a comfortable position for you, you could take a tall seat, lengthen the spine. We just want to give ourselves find and feel into a comfortable position so that we can start to begin that transition, out of the world and into the body. Go ahead and take a big inhale. And then open the mouth, take a nice long exhale. Just letting it all go. A couple breaths like that, inhaling fully. And exhaling completely, just letting the weight of the hips, the heart, magnetize towards the floor beneath you. The breath is boss. And sure, we'll move moment to moment, movement to movement, but can we really find the essence of the flow within the breath, right? How the inhale is going to thread the exhale to the inhale, and that lingering space that lives in between. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Maybe starting to lengthen the inhales. And just see if you can slow your exhale right down. Adding a little bit of texture, a little bit of tone to the breath, creating a slight constriction in the back of the breath, the Ujjayi pranayama. And then on an inhale, come up onto the hands and the knees, setting up into a tabletop position here. We're going to start just by rocking our weight forwards and backwards a couple of times, as giving the brain a moment to adjust to bearing weight on the hands. Maybe bringing some circles in, right? Doing circles, moving through the hips and just letting the rest of the body follow. Once you've gone one way, go ahead and spin the opposite way. Again, initiating that movement through the hips, letting the rest of the body kind of surf the wave of the breath. And then coming on back through center, press into the tops of the feet, press into the hands, and round your spine here for cat pose. We're just going to hang out here for a couple of breaths. I want to spread my fingers and really press down through the finger pads, like I was pressing my fingernails into the floor. And keep the knuckles of the index fingers into the floor and try to tuck the lower belly in and up. Dropping the chin towards the chest. Keep the muscles in the back of the neck relaxed and round your upper back slightly deeper. Stretching back out into a neutral spine. You're going to walk your hands towards your knees. We're going to come into a variation of gait pose. So you'll bring your left foot out to the side, and you're going to stand up onto your right knee here. Now I can always pad my my mat to get a little bit more cushion under my right knee. I'm going to turn my left toes open to the top of the mat, and I want to open this left knee so the hips stay more or less square. Okay, you're going to take your hand towards the inside of the knee, and as I exhale, I'm going to bend into that left knee, reach my arm across, and as I inhale, I'm going to open it up. Exhale, I'm going to bend, and inhale, I'm going to open my arm back. Okay, exhale, you're gonna bend into this left knee, sweep the right arm across. That's it, and inhale to open it out. Okay, exhale, and inhale. And we're gonna start to add a bit of a side bend. Okay, so as I inhale, I'll begin to straighten my left leg and stretch my right arm up and over my head. And then as I exhale, I'm gonna bend into that left knee, sweep the right arm across. Good. Again, inhale. It's a nice long inhale, sweeping the fingertips up. And then exhale is relax, just kind of this elastic movement back into it. Okay, again, keep going. Inhale. And exhale. Nice long breath in. And nice relaxed breath out. Let's just do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, this time I'm going to open my right arm out and I'm going to lean my left hand down towards the inside of my left foot. Okay, stretch the right arm up towards the ceiling to begin. And then maybe even sweep it up towards the top of your mat. You can always find a block underneath the left fingertips. Think of showing the bottom collarbone slightly towards the ceiling as the left arm and the left leg, they have this gentle pressure into each other. Okay, press into your feet. Inhale, come on back up. Go ahead and straighten the left leg. Come onto your knees. We're going to switch to the other side. So my right leg goes out and I stand on my left knee. Again, cushion the knee as much as you like. Okay, this is some really good mobility work for the hips, the ankles, the knee. I'm going to turn my right foot open. Okay, and again, I want to externally rotate this right leg. So I'm kind of pressing the outside of my knee towards the long edge of my mat. Taking the right hand towards the inside of the knee. You're going to bend into the right knee, exhaling as you sweep the hand across. And then inhaling to open it up. Exhale, bend into the right knee. Inhale to open it up. And keep going like that a couple times. Doesn't matter how far you go. Right? We're just, again, trying to create a little bit of lubrication, a little bit of mobility into the joints. And then on your next one, you're going to start to bring it into the side bend. So as you inhale, sweep the arm up overhead, begin to straighten into the right leg. And then as you exhale, that's it, sweep the hand across the chest. Good. Again, big breath in, stretch the length of the inhale. And a nice relaxed exhale. You don't have to give it too much thought. Big breath in. And exhale. One more inhale, lengthen. Exhaling. Left hand crosses the body. Okay, come here or come on back through center. We're gonna lean the right hand down towards the right or towards the floor or even onto a block, sweeping the left arm up and maybe even over top of the head. No stress or strain. Relax the muscles in the back of the neck. Give a little lift through the chest. Peek down to the right foot. Inhale, come on up. And then stepping or turning back onto the mat, coming onto your hands and your knees one more time. We're going to press gently into the tops of the feet. You're going to lift your sit bones, take your gaze forward as you inhale. And then exhale, round and curl in. Again, breathe into lengthen, roll the inner thighs back, draw the chest forward and up. And exhale to curl. Hollowing out the navel, really press the floor away from you. Couple more like that. And then we'll find our way into downward facing dog. You can curl your toes, press your hips towards the back of the room. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. You're going to dial the knuckles of the index fingers into the floor. Feel the triceps wrap back. The biceps spin a little bit forward. That nice clear connection to the knuckles of the index fingers. You also press into the outer edges of your pinkies. From here, we're going to bend the knees and do a two exhale. I'm going to do springs of the knees, and then inhale, nice and long breath, come into down dog. Okay, exhale, breathe in, lengthen the legs. A couple times, long breath in, exhale, long breath in, lift your sit bones. Just 2 more times. Lengthening, lengthening, waking up that back leg or back chain. And take the right leg nice and high to the sky. Step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. I'm going to lower my left knee down. Breathe in, reach the right arm, open up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to come into pyramid pose. Take the right hand to the floor and send your hips to the back of the mat. I like to peel the right toes into the air, so I'm balancing more on my heel here. I also like to keep a bit of a bend in my front knee to really feel the stretch into the hamstring. You plant the right foot down, step the left foot forward to the top of the mat, bending into the knees. Come on into an active squat. You're going to press your legs straight, hands to prayer. Inhale, reach the arms up over the head. Bend the knees, sit back into your squat as you exhale. Okay, take a couple of breaths here. Drive down through the heels, spread your toes. And then folding forward, hands to the floor, just step back into downward facing dog. This time, my left leg lifts up high to the sky. I'm going to step my foot to the outside of the left hand and then lower the right knee down. Again, big breath in, reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, open the breastbone. And let's come on into pyramid pose, left hand to the floor, shift the hips back. Again, you might choose to lift the left toes away from the floor, balancing a little bit more on the heel. Maybe bringing a bend into that left knee, like your thumb was hooked into the left hip crease. Draw the outer left hip back. Big breath into the left hamstring. And let's step the right foot forward to the top of the mat. Okay, give a bend into the knees. Come on into your active squat. Stay here for a breath. Press the feet straight, or the legs straight, hands to prayer. Okay, big breath in, reach the arms up over the head. Bend the knees. We're going to come back into our active squat here. So this time I place my elbows on top of my knees. And as I push my elbows into my knees, I want to feel my knees lifting into my elbows. And I'm just going to take a little bit of a twist here, look over the right shoulder. You know, as you look over your right shoulder, squeeze the knee, the left knee into the left elbow a bit better, or a little bit tighter. Okay, and then let's go to the other side. Right elbow, right knee pushing into each other. Look off to the left. Gaze comes back through center. Hands to the floor, lift your seat. Toe heel your feet towards each other in the middle of your mat. You're gonna a little bend into your knees here, reach the arms back. Place the palms of the hands to the backs of the legs, maybe even sliding the fingertips underneath the heels for Padahasa. I'm gonna let my head hang heavy. Maybe my face touches the legs below the knees. I'm gonna bend into the knees as much as I need. Now shift a little bit of pressure forward to the balls of the feet. And then almost like a cobra pose, lengthen and reach your body down from the lower spine as if you're reaching the tips of the ears to the tops of the feet. Taking a big sweet breath into the back of the legs. They'd release the heels. Take the arms out in front of you. And then on an inhale, come on back up, arms and head together all the way up, bending the knees as much as you need. Exhale, pull your hands, palms to prayer, Samastitihi. You're gonna bend your knees, sit your hips back and reach your arms forward. Okay, arms are gonna provide a little bit of a counterbalance here. Now I wanna slightly tuck my tailbone down to draw the lower belly in and up. Spread the toes from the center of your foot And then imagine like you were dragging your heels wider, like you're trying to slow yourself down in cross-country skis. Really feel those glutes engaging. As you exhale, push the arms towards the back of the room. And as you inhale, float the arms forward and up. Okay? Exhale, push the arms towards the back of the room like you're moving through water. And inhale, draw them forward and up. Again, exhale. And big breath in. Exhale, push the arms back. Inhale, arms up. This time, exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward. Big breath in, lengthen your spine. Hands to the floor, step back, high plank. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. Roll the inner thighs a bit towards the ceiling and draw the tailbone under. Squeeze the glutes here. Okay, I'm gonna rock a little bit of weight forward into my hands. Big breath in. And as I exhale, I wanna come right down to the belly. Slide the hands alongside the body. Press into the hips, locust pose, come on up, inhale. Hips drive down into the earth. Shoulder blades squeeze towards the spine. Again, spread those toes from the center of your foot. Slowly lower yourself back down. Tuck the hands underneath the shoulders, curl your toes, press on up, inhale. And hips back, down dog. Take the right leg high to the sky. And then as you exhale, hug your knee towards your nose, rock forward and hover. Okay, right leg goes back and up. Exhale, knee towards your nose, hover. Again, breathe in, right leg goes back and up. Exhale, knee towards the nose, hover. Inhale, the right leg goes back. This time I'm gonna step my right foot through to a lunge pose. Okay, bring a bend into your back knee, come into a double bend knee lunge. And take the arms out, up, and over my head. Okay, now with a bend in that back knee, I wanna pull my outer right hip back, really feel this glute working. And similar to what we were doing in our chair pose, it's like I'm dragging my heel a bit wider. We're gonna take some dynamic movement here. So as I inhale, I'm gonna straighten the legs and start to tip my body forward. And then as I exhale, I'm gonna bend the knees and tip my upper body back. Okay, inhale, draw the legs straight, start to tip the body forward, maybe even arms go back. And then exhale, bend the knees, float the fingertips up, even thumbs to the back of your mat. Okay, keep going like that, breathe in. And breathe out. Kind of a similar sensation to your cat-cow. You're matching the movement to the breath. And the movements, they can be as big or as little as you like. Two more. Okay, this time as you sweep your arms back up towards the sky, you're gonna take your thumbs to the base of the skull. Give a little squeeze into that back thigh, try to straighten the back leg, and then reach the arms back in space for a spinal extension. I am hugging the outer hips in, grounding into the heel of the front foot, expanding from the center out to the periphery. Nice and slowly bring your hands down towards the floor here and lower your left knee. Untuck the left toes. Take the left hand to the outside of the right knee and then reach the right arm to the back of the mat to bring it into a bit of a twist. Okay, we've got that stability turned on through the outer glute. Push the knee into the hand. The left knee, the right knee into the left hand, that is. Come on back through center. Hands to the floor, step back. Three-legged dog, you're gonna float my right leg nice and high to the sky. Bend the knee and stack the hip. Go ahead and place the right foot down onto the floor. This time the left leg lifts up high to the sky. Exhale, hug the knee to the nose, rock forward and hover. Let's do that again. Inhale, send your left leg back in space. Exhale, knee towards your nose, round, push the floor away from you and hover. Again, inhale. Exhale. Left leg goes back. This time, lunge. I'm going to step my left foot through. I'm going to keep a bend in my back knee as I come on up into my double bent knee lunge. Finding the foundation here. The right hip comes forward. The outer left hip hugs back. So again, let's play with some dynamic movement. Start to pull the legs straight, tip the body forward. And you're going to bend into your knees and tip your body back. Inhale, pull into the midline. Doesn't matter how big the movement is. Exhale, bending into the knees. Strong legs as you take it into your little back bend. And as we kind of purposely destabilize the body through these movements, it's natural to get that calibration, that kind of wiggling and wobbling. That's what we want to create. And as we come back to the breath, the body is constantly working to reorganize. And this time, as you come back up into your double bent knee lunge, you're going to take your thumbs to the base of your skull and then power into that back leg. Go ahead and straighten it as much as you can, extending the arms back for a back bend. Right hip drives forward, press into the heel of the left foot. Find the strength in the lower body to lengthen and lift up and out of the waist. You nice and slowly bring your hands, palms down to the floor. You're going to lower it into the right knee and untuck the right toes. Take the right hand to the outside of the left knee, the left hand towards the back of the mat for a twist. I push the knee into my hand a little bit back into the knee. Come on forward, hands to the floor. Step it back, three-legged dog. The left leg lifts up high to the sky. You're going to bend your left knee and stack your hip. Okay, take the left foot down to the floor. Lift up onto your tippy toes. Round your upper back. Inhaling, come on forward to a high plank. And I'm going to draw my collarbones forward, widen that space across the collarbones, and then give a little bend into your knees here and pull your hips back. Like I have my fingers in the front of your hip bones, dragging you back in space. Again, inhale, round the upper back, come forward to your high plank. Bend the knees, pull the lower belly in, reach your hips to the back of the room, down dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Round forward into high plank, bend the knees, pull the fronts of your hips back, down dog. Intentional tension, create that resistance as you move. And then stepping the feet right together, I'm going to float my right leg up to the sky. I'm going to bend the right knee and stack the hip. Pressing the heel of the left foot down. Okay, the right foot steps through to the top of your mat. Turn your left heel down. Windmill the arms on up to warrior 2. So I'm going to give a nice deep bend into this front knee. Left hip moves a little forward in space. Roll the shoulders down the back, reach wide through the fingertips. So even the warrior 2 is a familiar pose. Doesn't necessarily have to be a comfortable one, right? We're creating those lines of tension. I want to bend my right knee. Press deeply into the pinky toe edge of the left foot. Okay, from here, you're going to lean towards the top of your mat, the right elbow to the top of the knee, right elbow to the inside of the knee, left arm to the sky to begin with, either or. Okay, but wherever I am, elbow on knee or elbow inside of me, I'm pushing them into each other to create that equal and opposite movement. I can stay here, I can spin my left thumb to the back of my mat, bend my elbow and place my hand into my lower back or even reach under and grab the bind if that feels okay. Even if you're in the bind, you're still pressing the right arm and the right knee into each other. From that place, turning and twisting the chest towards the sky. Spreading the toes from the center of the foot. Last breath here. I'm gonna release the bind if I've taken it. Press into the feet, inhale, come on up. Straighten the right leg as you exalt the warrior, right hand to the back of the mat. Okay, spread the right toes. I'm gonna come into extended triangle. So I'm gonna reach back to the top of my mat, stretch over the right hip, and then right arm down, left arm up. Hand to shin, I can use a block either or here. Feel the top hip move a little forward in space. Breathe. It's like I want to squeeze my right knee or magnetize my right knee towards my right big toe. And from that place, open the bottom of the rib cage towards the ceiling. And go ahead and peek down to the floor. You're going to place your hands on the floor and step into a high plank. From here, I'm going to turn my weight to my left heel, or to the outside of my left heel, reach the right arm to the sky, Vastikasana. And we're actually going to move through Vastikasana from one side to the other. So my right hand comes down, and I'm going to turn to the outside of the right heel, left arm to the sky. Okay, I'm going to take my left hand back down to the floor, and I turn, peeling the bottom of the left ribs round the spine as you lift the right arm up. Okay, and then let's do it again. Right hand comes down, turning on the feet. And then left hand to the floor. Set it up, high plank. As you exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, come through cobra up dog, a small sip at the top. And then press back downward, facing dog. Deep breath here. And this time my left leg lifts up, bend the knee, stack the hip. And then go ahead and step your left foot through to the top of your mat. Warrior two, come on out. Okay, so I'm gonna reach my arms nice and wide. Again, I'm gonna give a nice deep bend into this left knee. Feel your back hip move a bit forward in space. Spreading the toes from the center of the foot. Grounding into the heel of that back foot as well. Okay, let's begin to tip the body forward. Place the left elbow to the left knee this time, or the left elbow to the inside of the knee, right arm to the sky. Keep the muscles in the back of your neck relaxed. Find a little bit of a lift, like the back of the heart was giving the front of the heart this gentle nudge forward. Stay here, or you can turn your right thumb to the back of your mat, bend your elbow, place your hand to the lower back. If you want to work the bind, you can reach under and grab the right hand with the left. Now again, I'm still pressing my left knee and my left arm into each other. And as we go for the bind, we tend to kind of like bunch up this left side. So bring your attention to the back of your left ribs. And see if you can fill your lower lobe of the left lung with breath. Almost like you're a fish that had gills, the sides of the ribs expanding as you inhale. Last couple of breaths here. And then releasing the arms from the bind. We're gonna come on back up, straighten this left leg, exalt the warrior, left fingertips to the back of your mat. Spreading your toes from the center of the foot. Feel a nice opening through that left side body. Extended triangle, let's come on back through center. Tip towards the top of your mat one more time. And windmill the arms. Let the left arm come down and the right arm go up. Hand to the shin, the block, whatever works. Again, I want to feel my top hip move a little forward in space, wrapping the left hip back. It's kind of like your thumb was hooked into the left hip crease here as well, drawing the outer hip back. Feel the Left side of the ribs expand as you inhale. Bring that breath right into the bottom of the left lung. And then go ahead, gaze down. Take your hands to the floor. Step into a high plank. This time I'm going to drop my weight over towards the right hand, coming to the right sides edges of the feet. Left arm to the sky, side plank. And again, we're going to take it through a bit of a rotation, nice and slowly, like you're moving through water. Left hand to the floor. So I come onto the toes. I pivot to the outer edges of the feet as this right arm lifts to the sky. I almost like to imagine, and then bring the right hand down and twist. When I lift the arm away from the floor, it's like I had it attached to a resistance band. I'm really actively, purposely pulling the left arm to the sky from the center of my core. Okay, let's keep going a couple more times. Feel the bottom side of the body lifting towards the spine. And then you'll find your way back into high plank. As you exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Come through Cobra Up Dog and press back downward, facing dog. Deep breath here. Bend into the knees, drop your elbows to the floor as well. Grab opposite elbows and take my hands out in front of me for Dolphin Pose. You can bring your palms together. You can place your hands down, either or. Curl the toes and lift your hips nice and high to the sky here. Okay, now I'm going to press into the insides of my elbows and also down through my pinky fingers. So I really feel, even though the line of the arms is much shorter than in down dog, it's that same thing. Triceps wrap back, the biceps spin a little forward. Imagine you had two ginormous nostrils on your shoulder blades. Take two big breaths into the back, into the sides of your ribs. And then go ahead, lower your knees to the floor. Hips to the heels. You can reach the arms back for Embryo Pose. Take a beat here. Bring your hands back onto the floor in front of you. Okay, standing up onto your hands and your knees, you're going to turn your right foot a little bit wider. So this right foot comes to about a 45-degree angle, and my left foot stretches to the back of the mat. Left hand to the hip. Peek down at the hand that's on the floor. Again, dial the knuckle of the index finger into the floor. And then from here, I'm going to reach my left arm to the ceiling. I'm going to spread my left toes, and like I had a super tight resistance band around my left ankle, I'm going to start to drag that foot away from the floor. Okay, as you lift your left leg up, really press down through the right foot as well. You can stay right here, or you can begin to bend your top knee, squeezing the heel to the butt cheek, reach back as if to grab the left foot with the right hand. I'm sorry, that's the left foot with the left hand, not the right hand. That would be very twisty. I'm going to roll the left shoulder onto the back, and as I push my foot into my hand pushes back into the foot to feel the stretch across the front of the thigh. Go ahead, release the top leg straight. Take the left hand down to the floor. Okay, I'm going to turn my left foot a little bit wider. I'm going to straighten my right leg and come into a version of side plank here. Again, I can reach my right arm up to the sky, spread your right toes, and start to drag that right heel into the air. Again, like you're pulling the resistance band away from the floor. Press into the top of the left foot. That's it. I can squeeze my right heel towards my butt cheek, reach back to grab the foot if it feels okay. Okay, pressing the foot, the hand away or into each other as you roll the top shoulder down your back. Notice the temptation to want to crunch into the lower back here. I want you to lengthen your tailbone down. almost like we're pulling the top of your hips towards the ribs. There's lots and lots of space in the low back. Good, release the right hand, come on back to the floor. Curl your toes, press your hips to the back of the room, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And slow breath out. Okay, pop up onto your toes, peek forward. Bend your knees, step, jump, or hop to the top of the mat. Okay, let's halfway lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold. Press into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up, reach the fingertips nice and high towards the sky. Tracing your hands, palms to prayer, Samastitahi, take a breath here. We're gonna begin to shift our weight into the left leg. Bring the right leg up. I can interlace my hands a couple of inches below the knee, kind of lifting the knee a little bit higher than the hip. And I can always find a bit of a bend into my standing leg as I need. You can always use the strap for this one as well. The first part is I stay right here. I can even keep holding onto my knee and just start to open up my right hand, bring it into a bit of a twist. If I want to find a little bit more length into the right leg, I can grab it with my left foot, stretch it away. Okay, either or. And again, you can always use a strap here as well. I want to avoid this right hip hitching up. So it's like the right butt cheek gets a little bit heavier. And then slowly come on back round through center. You keep the right leg out in front of you and slowly lower it down. That's it, you got it. Okay, you're gonna shift the weight onto the right leg. The left leg lifts up. And interlace my hands. Again, I can always just start to open it up for my twist. So I wanna add a little bit of length into the bottom of the leg. I can grab the left foot, extending it forward. And then go ahead and come on back round through center and slowly lower the foot down. We'll take it through a vinyasa so Rob can do the other side. Did you get both sides in, Rob? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, then we won't. We're gonna come to the top of the mat. You guys might already be there. I turned on my mat. I'm gonna bend into the knees and sit the hips low, Utkatasana. Okay, here I'm gonna take my left leg over top of my right. I'm gonna bring my left arm underneath my right, Eagle Garuda Asana. Okay, the top leg presses down, the bottom leg is gonna lift a little bit up. Feel the bottom elbow lifting into the top elbow as you draw the right shoulder down. And then from here, I'm gonna begin to flex my hips. So I'm folding forward. The temptation is gonna be to wanna round your spine. I want you to think more of folding at the hips. So if anything, I actually kind of am resisting the temptation of rounding by creating a bit of a back bend into my upper back. And as my elbows squeeze to the knees are lifting in towards my elbows as well. We're gonna take a big breath here. And then unhook the arms, unhook the legs. Let's take it into warrior 3. Stretch your left leg back. Again, folding at the hips, tipping the body forward. My arms can come back along the sides of the body. Take a breath here. Bend into your right knee, crouching warrior. Spread your left toes and then turn your left toes open towards the long edge of the mat. My right hand comes down to the floor, maybe to a block. But I want to keep a bend in my standing leg as I externally rotate this left hip. Okay, now once my left toes are pointed towards the side of the room, I can press down through my standing foot to re-squeeze the leg. Left hand can lift up to the sky if it feels okay. Ardha Chandrasana. Breathe here. Breathe into the shape. You can always stay here. Or if you want to play with Chapasana, squeeze the top heel into the butt cheek like we did when we were on the knee. Reach back to grab the left foot with the left hand. I almost said right hand again. And then pushing my foot into my hand as much as my hand pushes into the foot. Breathe. All right, Chapasana, release that top leg, left hand to the sky. And then bend your standing leg, square your hips here. Bend your top knee. I'm gonna take my hands down to the floor. I can also have them on blocks here. As I exhale, I wanna squeeze my left knee in towards my right. So I can have a bend in my right knee as well. Inhale, I'm gonna straighten the left leg back. And then exhale, I'm gonna squeeze the knees towards each other. Okay, keep the arms as straight as possible. Lift onto your right toes. Pull the lower belly in. Okay, think of almost like cat pose. You're pushing the floor away from you, hollowing out the navel to feel a little bit of a float through your hips. And then lower the right heel, step the left foot to the floor. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine. And take an exhale, fold and release. Toe heel your feet wider than your hips. Bend into your knees coming into a squat. So I can absolutely stay in my sumo squat here. Or I'm gonna slide my elbows to the front of the knees to drop my seat. Okay, as the elbows push the knees push back into the elbows, take a breath. You know, building the strength on all edges of the hip is what's gonna actually really work to increase the mobility of the hip. Okay, hands come out in front of you, straighten the legs, toe heel your feet together. Take a big breath in, lengthen your spine. And take an exhale, fold and release. Bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, come on up. Press down through your feet to sweep the arms out, up over the head. And as you exhale, bring your hands, palms together. Samasthiti. Take a breath here. You know, maybe just notice for a moment, does one side of the body feel a little bit different than the other? And then we're gonna take our hands to the hips, drop the hips back towards the back of the mat. This time, I'm gonna bring my left leg over the right. And bring my left arm under my right. Squeeze the arms and the legs together, Ego Garuda Asana. As the top thigh presses down, that bottom thigh lifts up. And as the top elbow hugs down, the bottom elbow lifts a little bit up. It doesn't matter how low I go. Again, I'm gonna start to fold at my hips, so flexing at the hips. Notice the temptation around your spine. I want you to fold at your hips. That means you gotta pull your right hip slightly back. Tuck the lower belly in. Feel the elbows magnetize to the knees magnetize to the elbows, and take a nice big breath here. All right, let's move it into warrior three. So I'm gonna unhook my arms to my legs, take the right knee forward, and then begin to tip the body forward, send the right leg back. Find a bend in that standing leg, however much you need. Keep the right hip forward, whatever arm variation works. Spreading your left toes from the center of the foot. So just notice, is the weight all on the outer edge of the foot? Can you drive into the bone of the big toe? And then I'm gonna bend my left knee, crouching warrior, start to turn it into Ardha Chandrasana. So spreading your right toes, turn the right toes open towards the long edge of the mat. The left hand comes down to the floor, maybe a block. The right arm can reach to the sky. You know, as I find my Ardha Chandrasana shape, I'm working to press down through the foot to eventually straighten the left leg, but there's gonna be a bend in the knee, no problem. If you wanna take it into Chapasana, you're gonna squeeze your right heel to your butt cheek first, reach up to grab the foot with the hand. Now, just like when we were balanced on our knee, I'm pushing my foot into my hand into my foot to keep a lot of space in the low back. Embrace the wiggles, the wobbles. Chapasana releases. Bend your standing leg. Take the right hand down to the floor here for our version of standing splits. So you're gonna bring your hands down to the floor. You're gonna squeeze your right knee in towards the left. Keep the arms as straight as possible. Inhale, stretch the right leg back out and up. Exhale, squeeze the knee in, pull the low belly in. Okay, and this time I'm gonna shift the weight into my hands. I'm gonna lift my heel away from the floor. So I'm coming onto my left toes. Pull the low belly in. Keep pushing the floor away from you. Think of almost like your cat pose. Okay, rounding or drawing the lower belly in as you push the hands down and away. And then lower the heel, step your right foot beside the left. Take an inhale, lengthen. And take an exhale, fold. Okay, toe heel your feet a little wider than your hips here. Okay, bending into the knees again, we can come into our squat pose or the sumo squat, elbows on the knees, or you can come into squat, dropping the hips a little lower. Pressing the elbows into the knees, squeezing the knees back into the elbows. Maybe even finding a little bit of sway side to side. Looking over the right shoulder here. I'm looking over the left shoulder. Allowing yourself to linger wherever it is that your body might call or pray for you to linger today. Hands come back out into the floor. Lift your seat. Toe heel your feet towards each other. Okay, take a big breath in, lengthen your spine. And exhale, fold and release. Inhale, come all the way up, sweep the fingertips nice and high into the sky. Exhale, pull your hands down to heart center, Samastitihi. Okay, inhale, the arms come out up over the head. And the knees, exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway to lengthen your spine. Hands to the floor, step or hop, Chaturanga Dandasana, low push-up. Inhale, pull your way through Cobra, up dog. And then press yourself back downward, facing dog. Breathe here. Bending into the knees as much as you like. Roll your inner thighs slightly back. Like the front of the thighs, we're pressing into the backs of the legs. Reaching the insides of the heels towards the floor. Okay, lower your knees to the floor here. Sit your hips onto your heels. I'm going to take the right leg forward. We're going to bend. We're going to bring the left leg forward. If you've done it already the other way, you can do it the other way. It doesn't really matter. But you're going to keep a bend in the right knee. Point the toes to the back of the room. You can always slide a block or cushion underneath your seat. And then I can always stay right here. This is a great place to stay. A little bit working into the foot. Really starting to feel that stretch through the front of the thigh. And if I'm not quite feeling the stretch in the front of the thigh, that might just suggest that I need to lower a little bit more onto my elbows. Deeper doesn't mean better, right? It's that as we increase our range of motion, sometimes we need to increase the depth of the pose to feel that safe sensation. So we're looking for that intentional tension, feeling an opening across the front of the right thigh. If it's there and I want to lower all the way down to the back, I can give it a go. Again, feeling that nice opening across the right thigh. Maybe the arms reach over the head. This one, we tend to also kind of crunch in the lower back. So wherever you are, so you can give that slight tuck in the tail to open the space in the lower back. And I'm going to send my breath right down into the base of the spine. And let's just take 3 more breaths here. And nice and slowly come on back up. I'm going to switch to the other side. So in my case, the left foot would come back. If you did the opposite the first side, then do the opposite of what you did here, second side. Okay, you can stay right here in this upright position. Again, feeling that nice opening of the foot, the ankle, and the thigh. Slowly start to maybe make your way back. Monitoring your own resistance. The breath is the boss. Again, if it feels jammy in the lower back, maybe it just means you've come a little bit too far. Or you could even, for myself, I almost press my right foot into the floor to pull the right butt cheek a little bit wider. And then again, that slight tuck in the tail to help to isolate the stretch a bit more through the front of the thigh. Really and truly, what we are doing with this posture is releasing the quadricep so the thigh bone can drop down into the hip socket. Because as we do lots of, running and skiing and biking, we build the quads, which is so awesome, but it pulls the thigh bones forward and it really puts a lot of stress and strain over time into the low back. So again, it's not so much what you do, but it's how you do it. And as we're moving into this, we want to feel really spacious in our lower back as if to not aggravate it more. Because again, the intention of this posture is to release it. Okay, we're going to release or slowly come on back up, and the left leg comes forward. And bounce the knees a couple of times here. Okay, we're going to take a nice big opening through the front of the thighs. Shimmy our hips to the middle of the mat. Bring the hands back alongside the body. Spin the fingers forward. Take it into reverse table for a sec here. Press your heels down. Lift your hips. You can drop your head back if it feels okay. I want to squeeze my heels to my hands towards my heels. And then lower the seat. Okay, reaching the arms out in front of you, come right down onto your back. We're going to take it into one big back bend here. Okay, I'm going to walk my feet in a little bit closer towards my heels. And actually, we're going to do two. So let's start with bridge pose. I'm going to take my fingertips, brush them down along the backs of the heels. And of course, if it feels better, have the feet a little forward, that's totally fine as well. You're going to take your arms along the sides of the body, point your fingertips up to the ceiling for robot arms here, and then tuck your shoulder blades underneath. Okay, push into the feet just like reverse table. Start to lift your seat, scooping the tailbone up towards the sky. I'm going to take my time getting into it because again, we're doing two. I want to feel that this sensation is evenly distributed through my spine. I can always straighten the arms, interlace the hands underneath the body, the right shoulder, the left shoulder underneath. But our back bends are really and truly coming from the strength of our legs. So I want to spread my toes. I want to press down through the bones of my big toes, my baby toes, my heels. And at the same time, imagine almost like you're dragging your heels to your shoulders. All right, lower the seat. Go ahead and take your knees a little wider, knock your knees together. You can rock them down the sides of the feet a couple times here. And then let's do it one more time. So bridge with the option to take it into wheel. So I keep my feet, my heels under my knees. Okay, palms can stay to the floor or robot arms, whichever feels better in your body. Draw the tailbone up first so you feel the lower back kind of flattening to the floor, and then push down through the feet to lift the seat. I can stay right here. I can take it into bridge pose. If Urdhva Dhanurasana full wheel is in my practice, I might bring my hands alongside my ears, and on an exhale, press up. But still really sourcing the strength from the legs. Just like when we were doing our reclined saddle, I want to feel a lot of space in the back of the body. So I'm breathing into the sides and breathing into the back of the ribs here. And then chin can come into the chest. Slowly lower your way down, all the way onto your back. Give yourself a little squeeze, hug the knees into the chest here. You might reach up and grab the feet for happy baby pose on a rocking the hip side to side a couple times. And then bring your feet back down to the floor. You're going to take your right leg up to the sky, spread your right toes, and place the heel of the right foot on top of the left knee. Figure four or thread the needle. I'm going to draw my bottom leg into the air, maybe reach through and grab the back of the thigh, the front of the shin, either or. As I pull the back of the thigh slightly towards me, I want to balance that action by resisting my thigh into my hands as well. Sending the breath right down into your seat, into the base of your spine, into the low belly. And use the exhale as the invitation to explore. Go ahead and lower the left foot to the floor. Stretch the right leg up to the sky, and then bring the right foot back down. Okay, you're gonna drop your knees over towards the left here, both knees. Take the right hand up towards the ceiling. So I'm going all the way over onto my left shoulder, I should say. My right hand lifts up. I'm gonna turn my thumb to the top of the mat. And I'm gonna bend my elbow, placing my hand across the lower back so the palm faces down. And from here, I'm gonna roll back so I'm lying on my arm. And I can readjust myself once I get here. And I'm pressing into the feet. You can play, the closer the elbow comes into the side of the body, the more sensational this is gonna be. So you monitor your own resistance, and then go ahead and extend the legs straight. I'm gonna use the arm that is on the floor, the one that I'm lying on, so that that palm touches the floor. If I were to make a fist with my right hand, I'd grab the floor, not my back. And I'm gonna use that arm to create a little bit of feedback. Inhaling, feel the back of the ribs pressing into the arm. You might even play with letting your head roll towards the left shoulder. And just, again, searching and exploring the sensation as it shows up in your body. A nice opening across the front of the collarbone. We actually did a lot today to work into the rib-hip connection. So just using these final stretches is a way to sort of reinforce, to integrate some of the movements. Go ahead, bend your knees, drop your knees over to the left again, come all the way into the fetal position and the right arm to the sky. Okay, I'm gonna roll back onto my shoulders. We do figure four on the other side. The left leg lifts up, spread the toes, place the heel to the right knee. This time I can squeeze my bottom leg in. I can grab the back of the thigh if that feels good, whatever works. Taking a big inhale towards the low back. You'll feel the lower belly expanding as you inhale. And slowly easing in as you exhale. I'm feeling the stretch around the hip, but feeling a spaciousness in the hip joint, itself, right? So it doesn't ever feel like the bones are kind of clunking into each other. Instead, I want to feel that stretch on the more outer layer. And go ahead and lower the right leg. You lift your left leg up and drop the foot to the floor. We're gonna roll over into the fetal position on the right-hand side this time, and the left arm lifts up to the sky. Okay, spin your thumb to the back of the mat. Bend your top arm, so the knuckles of my left finger press into my lower back as I roll back. You can shimmy your feet to kind of get into a more comfortable position. So ultimately, my hand is on my back like this, the palm facing down. I'm going to straighten out the legs as it feels available or appropriate. And I use my bottom arm to create a bit of feedback. So as you inhale, like you could push the back of your ribs down into your arm. Maybe letting the right ear drop towards the right shoulder. Breathe into the shape. And then as the gaze, bring the gaze back through center. You're gonna roll over onto your right shoulder, stretch the left arm back up to the ceiling, and then come to rest on your back for final Shavasana. I can separate the arms, the legs as wide as I like. I might grab some socks, a blanket, just to kind of cozy on up here. I like to press the back of my head very gently into the floor, kind of tucking the shoulders under the body. And if it feels safe for you to close the eyes, could you roll your eyes to the temples as if you were taking a more peripheral range of sight behind the eyelids? Interestingly enough, that actually helps to disconnect us from the language part of the brain, this part that is always trying to name and to make sense of. And it allows us to fall a little bit deeper into the felt sense. As we rest in our Shavasana, just allowing the weight of the body to be heavy, and maybe do a little scan of your body. See if there's any parts that is kind of resisting this idea of surrender. I know I just checked in and my right shoulder is kind of like popped up. It's almost like it's holding itself away from the floor. So see if you can maybe spend the next couple of breaths just encouraging those spots in your body, wherever they might be, to relax, to let go. So we can allow the energy to flow through the body. Allow the body to do what it does best. And as we give ourselves this time to rest, to digest, we create the opportunity to move back into the rest of our day with that renewed sense of clarity. Of ease and faith. I leave you with the acronym, my favorite acronym for the word faith. Finally allowing it to happen. So allow yourself this time here as long as you like. It is always a pleasure leading you through. Thanks so much for joining. Namaste.